Today on my channel, we will be building and customizing our own PC case. So I just want to mention right now that I am sick in this video. I know I look terrible. I know I look like a homeless person. I wasn't feeling really well, but we'll push through. So right here, I have all the pieces, parts, ingredients, materials that we're gonna need for the build. Don't worry if you can't see them all here. I'm gonna list them all and the price for everything later in the video. The reason why I even wanted to make a video like this in the first place is because when getting all the parts together for my PC, the one thing that I just could not find online was a PC case that really fit my style and vibe. I have no idea why major PC companies have not optimized the process of customizing PC cases, especially since I think they're becoming more and more popular. As you may know, I feel like gaming companies nowadays are starting to realize that women like to game just as much as guys, which is kind of stupid because it's kind of always been that way. But regardless, now they want to make PC cases for girls, and by for girls they mean in the colors pink and purple, and I don't like pink and purple. So today, this is why we have to go through this process, because gaming companies are stupid and they don't realize that people like other colors besides black and white and pink and purple. There are more colors on the spectrum than just those four colors. Duh. If it is not clear by the things I have down here, the color that I wanted my PC case to be is kind of this matcha green color. I would not consider this matcha green. This is more like a pale green, but matcha green with some cream insides. The inspo for this build is kind of like a matcha latte. Now, to be fair, if you go online and look up matcha green PC case, there are 3 cases that show up. They're all made by the same company, Thermaltake, but I didn't really like any of the designs or the shape of them, so here we are painting my own. So that's why I got a PC case that I really like the design of, and we're just gonna customize it, because again, even though I am a girl who likes to game, I don't want my PC pink. I don't like pink, pink don't like me. We're gonna paint it the color we want to. So now with the intro done, let's get into the structure of the video. This video is going to be split up into 3 parts. The first part is going to be the disassembly. I have to take everything out of the case, gut it like a fish, make sure all the screws and bolts are out of it so we can prepare it to actually get painted. The second part of this video is going to be the actual customization. That includes sanding it down, priming it, and coloring it. The last part of this video is the actual PC building itself. If you don't really care about how I customize my PC case, you could always skip to this part of the video. We're not there yet, but that's going to be the last and final part because we have to make sure the PC case looks pretty. Then we can start assembling all of our pieces. And then yeah, we can move on from there. I did a lot of research when making sure I was getting the right pieces and seeing if any of these pieces came in certain colors. And there is just so much lacking on the PC building world's part of just making things pretty. I get it, it's all technology and then they only come in black, and I get that, but I was at least able to find one thing that will fit my build that I don't have to customize myself, which was a matcha green CPU cooler. Don't ask me how well it cools. Don't ask me how great of a brand it is. I don't know. This was the only matcha colored piece I could find for my build. Again, we're not doing the PC build just yet. We're only doing the customization first. But before we get started into that, let me do a breakdown of the pieces and the price that I paid for them. Now that the PC case is out of the box, it's time to start disassembling and start with the prep. I took the instructions out of the case and I was hoping that these directions would give me a lot of insight as to how to take this thing apart. And at least it has pictures. I can't even breathe. Allergies plus asthma on top of being sick. I'm about to die. Anyway. This is looking pretty skimpy. 2 pages. And before y'all be like, how much more instructions do you need? These instructions were terrible. I damn near broke off a piece of the case because I didn't know that it didn't come off. Would have been nice to know in the instructions. Also, I think I don't know what's going on. I might have to send this back because it's listing all these screws. Maybe I don't see not one. I don't see not one of them in here. Never mind, I just found them. So now that I have read all 1 page of the instructions, I'm just gonna go ahead, get in here, start taking out some screws, and hopefully I don't break anything. So yeah. During the disassembly, I decide to put all of my screws and parts in a plastic bag and use the painter's tape to label the bag with what the part is and how many screws are in there. If you're looking at this and thinking that like labeling and packaging and ziplocking all the screws is really tedious, it is, but I would rather do it this way just because I truly do want to make sure that I keep track of everything, because I don't want to lose screws and then I'm going to be screwed and then we're going to be in trouble. So now I'm just taking everything out and labeling it correctly. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So this is me just fiddling with the cords and cables. Spoiler alert, these cables will give me a very hard time later on in the video when I'm actually putting together the PC. Now that all the cables in the back of the PC are disconnected, I can now start unscrewing the fans. And finally, for this last part, I'm just making sure that everything is taken off of the PC case. That includes all of the glass panels that can be taken off, along with any cables that don't need to be attached while I'm painting. And I think that I've taken out everything that I possibly could have. Again, this is only my second PC build, so I'm not too sure if this motherboard piece is even meant to come out. I thought it could. Apparently it doesn't. That's fine. It's still gonna get painted. There are a few screws up here that I can unscrew, but also these buttons are up here. I don't have an engineering degree. I'm not even gonna try to unscrew or touch any of these buttons up here. And the other dilemma, which really doesn't have to be a dilemma if the manufacturer of this PC case actually had a brain, is that this panel doesn't come off. And so I'm gonna have to find a way to paint this white strip, and this white strip down at the bottom. Now, honestly, I'm gonna paint over top the glass. I don't really care. We're always gonna find a way. We have suddenly teleported to later in the day. We had some cords coming off of the PC case that connect to things like the power supply, the motherboard, all that good stuff. And I do not want them to get painted on, or I make a mistake and paint on a sensitive part when I start to spray paint. So I have a baggie covering these cords that hopefully will stay up while I am spray painting. Another thing, I have taped off the inside of the front panel for the PC. And I'm about to do the same thing for the side panel that doesn't come off. Disassembly took way longer than expected, but now that we're finally done with everything, we can move on to the really fun part. Okay, we are now outside for finally the customization part. I wanted to pick the warmest day to kind of do this, but also today is very windy. I don't know if my tripod's about to fall down. I don't know if the paint is gonna spray in the opposite direction. I don't know, but we're gonna try to do this as much as we can. Here's the setup. We're not gonna be spray painting on this actual table because my grandmother would kill me. We're gonna try to do it on this little concrete patio that I have here. Listen, I know I look like Adam Sandler right now. Just please, just leave me alone. I'm still sick, but we're gonna try to do this as best as we can. First things first is to use the sandpaper to sand down the metal. And here we're just sanding off the back panel of the PC case, and we're about to prime it. Okay. It's gonna come out. The first layer of primer is on the back plate of the PC. Now it's time to do the actual case. This is me taping up the buttons and the ports on the top of the case just to make sure that no paint or debris gets in. I've decided that I'm not going to use the etching primer on glass just because I kind of looked up what etching primer does. It is an acid inside that literally like helps break down the metal to let paint adhere to it. I don't think we need that for glass. So what the internet did recommend I do is take some sanding paper and actually like scrape the glass. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we're going to trust the internet and hope that it turns out okay. All right, that is it. Case is done. That's the first layer done. On the back of this, it actually gives you how long to cure, how long to dry, but every video that I watch always said double it because these people don't know what they be talking about. A surprise to no one except me, this can of primer is almost done. I guess I was so focused on the color that I was like, oh yeah, I definitely know I'm gonna need 2 cans of the color. I never thought I needed 2 cans of this. Let me explain something to you. I am not going back to any store to buy anything else. I don't care. So this, what's left of this, is all getting dedicated to that. So while the first layer of primer is drying, I moved on to the fans. I wanted the outside of the fan as well as the cords to be the cream color, not the blades itself. So here I'm trying to use a piece of plastic to cover up the blades so no paint gets on them. But clearly, as you can see, it's not working. So I had the bright idea of cutting up one of the masks that I had bought to use it as a shield to cover up the blades while I spray paint the rest of the fan. My mom is going to kick my ass, bro. I mean, like, I knew it would happen. Like, I knew that would happen. But also, like, I mean, come on now. Come on now. It has been literal days since I've been able to film me continuing the painting process. It is raining 40 days and 40 nights in the state of Maryland right now. And it even rained today. And it's gonna rain later today. But I figured I can sneak in a coat of paint for a case and finish off these fans and get this over with, because I want to get to the PC building part at this point, and I'm kind of sick of doing this already. So, because it was raining so much, I moved my workstation from the patio to my deck. Also, I applied the last layer of primer off camera. Now it's time to get to the fun part, which is the actual coloring of the PC case. For any of the cream parts, I'm using the color Antique White. That includes the inside of the case as well as any accessory parts. So now that the second coat of the secondary color is on, I can now wait till this dry, cures a little bit, put the third and final coat on, be done with this bottle, and then tape everything up, start with the green, and hopefully finally get closer to letting everything dry, shave it up, buff it out a little bit, make sure everything's nice and neat, and then put the actual PC together. Today, we're going to do a continuation of our newest segment on this video, which is New Day, New Fucking Problem. I left my PC outside last night to dry from its second coat of paint, and it rained. It rained terribly last night. And I come outside to check on the PC, and it is drenched. The motherboard part where the buttons are, drenched. The cords, drenched. Some of the cords even have rust on them. Not gonna lie. We might be cooked. We might be thoroughly cooked at this point. I don't really know. But despite my PC being completely soaked, we're gonna move on. I mentioned earlier in the video that instead of using an etching primer on the glass part of the PC, that I was just gonna have to use sandpaper to scrape it up a bit. Well, turns out the sandpaper that I bought wasn't rough enough to actually make a dent in the front of the glass. So my father pulled out some sanding disc out of the garage, and I was able to use these to rough up the surface. So after scraping the glass, I can finally paint it.
One eternity later.
It has been 2 weeks. 2 weeks since I started this dang PC. I started it in March. It's April. It's literally the month of April, and I feel like I haven't got a lot in.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would.
I feel like I haven't got a lot of footage of. Is the chicken head? Hold on, y'all, the chicken head. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to continue to get into the customization of my PC case. Everything seems to be going smoothly as it can go, considering the fact that I left my PC case out in the rain again. So now, here comes the fun part, which is actually painting It's literally 40 degrees out here and he wants to cut his lawn. I can't. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Fuck it. No commentary. What I was going to say before my neighbor so rudely interrupted me was that we can finally start putting on the main color, which is the green paint. But first, as you can see, I got some paint on the glass part of the case. So we're just going to use some nail polish remover to try to get most of it up. There was still a lot of paint left on the glass, so I had to bring out a razor blade. Unfortunately for me, I have a video to finish, so I can't slip my wrist just yet, but I am going to use it to scrape off the rest of the paint from the glass. My cat and my dog are fighting right now. Like, look at them. Look at them. What? Stop it. Stop it. Coco. Jesus Christ. Anywho, we are finally on to spray painting the primary color of the case. I will say that this is a really good first coat of paint. When I was doing the white coat, it was just very patchy, very not coming out even, and that's why I use so much of the white paint to... Coco, come here right now. Sit down. Sit. This is a really great first coat of paint. I think that once I get the second and third layer on, it's gonna look really nice. Looks good, we're almost there, we're in the final stages. And hopefully soon we can actually let it dry, let it cure for a couple days. I think I'm gonna do a week. I wanna wait a week. I don't want no tackiness, no stickiness. I want it to be fully dried and cured. And then we can start putting the actual PC together to finish this all out. So that's coming soon. Coco, you about to get So clearly some time has passed since I first started to break down, customize, and paint my PC case to where we are now, which is actually putting the PC together. It don't talk about a long time. So much time has passed, to the point where my little ass went on Amazon and got a microphone. I figured that I was so far away from my phone every time I was like spray painting and the wind was blowing and I don't know, a tornado was coming through that you guys couldn't really hear me. So I went online and bought these. These are so cute. I guess I technically don't need them now since that part is over, but I'm gonna use them for this because I spent my money already. And they're really cute. I don't know. The part that you guys have all been waiting for is finally here. It is time to build the PC. Right now, I'm just putting in all the PC components. That means the fans, any brackets or parts that I took out to paint it, and anything else that came originally with the PC. I'm going to daisy chain the fans later because I don't know how to daisy chain fans, but not worried about that right now because that's not really the most important part. And now I'm just taking the power supply out of the box. So the reason I'm doing this is because when you are dealing with sensitive electronics, you need to keep yourself grounded. There are these little wristbands that you attach to your wrist or you can attach to your ankle and then you clip it to a piece of metal. I'm not finna sit here and explain what grounding is or what it means. My name's not Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't have one of those and I wasn't gonna spend money on one of those either. So what you can do is take your power supply, plug it up, but do not turn it on, and just set it to the side when you're working on things. And before you start touching your sensitive electronics, you just rub your hands on this to get rid of the static electricity and then continue doing what you're doing. Now it's time to get cracking with one of the most important parts of a PC build, the motherboard. I would also like to mention now that this in no way, shape, or form is a tutorial on how to build a computer. My name is not Linus Tech Tips. There are 100 different YouTubers you can go and watch them put together a PC. I am not that person. This is just me showing you what I did to build mine. I have no idea what I'm yapping about in this clip because the microphone died, but I'm probably complaining about the fact that the motherboard did not come with instructions and instead the instructions are online. Here I'm putting in my Ryzen CPU. So what I'm talking about in this clip is how a lot of videos online that teach you how to put together a computer really neglect to mention that some of the things that you'll have to do to actually put the PC together require a bit of force. Don't get me wrong, these electronics are very sensitive, but sometimes you gotta be a little heavy-handed. And just to prove my point, I am opening the RAM and I'm going to put one of the sticks in and just listen to how crunchy it sounds. I didn't break anything, it's just that hard to put in. Now we're moving on to put in my 2 terabytes of storage. Now that I finished installing the CPU, storage, the RAM, now I gotta apply the cooler. This part is definitely the scariest part because, like I mentioned before, when I made my PC in 2022, I used an air cooler, but this time I'm using a AIO cooler, which is a liquid cooler. So give me about 10-20 minutes to watch a tutorial because I ain't even gonna cap. I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm in territory I have not been in before, so I definitely gotta watch a video on how to do it, and then I can actually do it. It's at this point that I'm cursing the friend that recommended this specific cooler to me because I'm clearly tired, and I opened the box and why are there 24 parts on this instruction manual? Oh my god. What? Bro, what? I am legitimately reconsidering taking back this cooler at this point because anyone that's built a PC before knows that air coolers do not have this many instructions and this many parts. They're very simple. This clearly is not the case. So apparently Thermaltake makes a lot of different versions of their all-in-one liquid coolers, but I was able to find a YouTube video by Thermaltake themselves of this exact type of cooler that I have, so I should be good. It's the exact same type, no differences, no different serial numbers, so I'm gonna go watch this. These fans, thank God, have arrows on them. So it has an arrow pointing up, or if I flip it the other way, down to distinguish the direction of the airflow, meaning so if I have the fan this way, air's coming in, moving down. And if I flip it the opposite way, which I am for this cooler, that the air is going to be flowing up, which is how you want it to be because air rises. So you want the air to come into the PC case and blow up and out. So it's going to be installed. This is at the top of the PC case. And again, this arrow is pointing up because we want the air to go through here out the other end. It's going to go just like that. Now it is this part in the video where I am about to have a heart attack. For all you non-nerdy people out there, PC fans come in two sizes, 120mm and 140mm. It's at this point where I realized that my PC case only supports 120mm, whereas the cooler that I bought is 140mm. So when I realized the cooler isn't fitting into the case, I immediately pull up Amazon just to check the dimensions of the things I bought. You can genuinely hear the shock in my voice when I found out that I fucked up. In no way, shape, or form did I think I was going to have to turn into Bob the Builder to build a PC. But nevertheless, we're going to find a way to put this cooler in, size be damned. My plan is basically to measure out the size of the cooler radiator and drill holes in where I need them. This takes a really long time because clearly I can't see where to put the holes at, and also I need to measure and remeasure multiple times to make sure it's accurate.
Shout out to the wrinkly shirt that I pulled out of my closet 2 minutes ago. It is the next day and hopefully the last day that it takes me to build this PC. So just to recap, yesterday I put on the RAM, the SSD card, the CPU, and we attached the AIO cooler to the top of the PC case.
Now today, all we really should be doing is plugging in the cables, plugging everything up to the power source, and making sure it all works before I actually assemble it, put it in the case, wrap all the cables up, make it look really nice and pretty. So hopefully we can finish that today. Also, I wanted to mention that it usually does not take multiple days to put together a PC. I think it's also important to understand that I had a major hiccup yesterday with the radiator for the cooler not being the right size for the case. Did not get to film my dad and I drilling holes into the top, but that took some time. Also, I was just taking a lot of breaks because, again, you buy all these electronics and they're really expensive and you don't want to mess anything up. My hands were sweating the whole time, hands shaking, knees weak, mom spaghetti, all that good stuff. It's taken me longer because I don't mind taking my time and I have the free time to leisure around and do it really slow and lazily. If you wanted to make your own PC, it usually does not take that long at all. You can honestly build a PC in, I would say, like under 30 minutes. If you were rushing, 40 if you wanted the extra time, but again, I was just taking my sweet old time. Agenda for the day, finish pretty much everything, hopefully. The one thing that I'm most worried about is that, as I've stated earlier in the video, my PC case was left out in the rain so many days. It's ironic because now it wants to be 80 degrees all week in the state of Maryland, which I'm just wondering where that weather was when I needed it. Because anyway, so hopefully all the cords on the PC case itself work. And if they don't, that's going to be a really big setback. We'll see. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the video, but I did not have a graphics card the last time I made a PC. I made my PC with a CPU that had integrated graphics. And if you know, integrated graphics on a CPU, you don't technically need a graphics card. I actually spent the money to get a GPU this time. Granted, not the best, but hey, it's not my fault. Graphics cards cost arm, a leg, and your virginity. I just got what I could, and I'm definitely gonna have to watch a tutorial video on how to put in a graphics card, because again, I've never done it before, but we'll see. Leave it to an electronics company to not put like the actual 38-page manual in the box as if you wouldn't need it. It's so annoying. Again, with these 2-word instructions are killing me. Install the expansion card. Okay, and what? The sky's blue? Like, what are we doing? Now, remember I said when I built my PC before, I didn't have a graphics card. So when I opened the box, I didn't expect this. Are they usually this small? Despite that, putting in the graphics card wasn't that hard. So now it's time to move on to the bane of my existence, which is cables. Now it's time for one of the most important parts of this build, which is putting everything together just to see if it works outside of the case before we put it inside the case.
what you doing out here with all this ass? Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon, hella ass, the sun is...
If you want to just benchmark test whether your components are working, which is what I'm doing right now, you can actually take a flathead screwdriver and without plugging in any cords, you can hit these 2 connector pins on your motherboard, make a circuit connection, whatever. Listen, shut up, I don't have an engineering degree, and you can turn it on without actually having a power button. But because I was talking to you guys about how my PC case was left in the rain so much, and I was wondering if any of the cords or even the buttons on the case would work, I am in fact gonna plug up the power button on my case to actually see if the button works in the first place. Because if the button don't work, so that is what we're gonna do right now. And besides, even if I didn't need to check to see if the PC buttons work, I'm not qualified enough nor confident enough to take a metal screwdriver and start poking around on all my good work. Hell no. All right, so now for the moment of truth, we are just test booting my PC for the purpose of making sure that all the PC parts work. But most importantly, see it if the PC case works. So I'm scared, but oh god. We are in business. I was so scared that these cables weren't gonna work anymore. When I tell you, I left it in the rain, I left it in the dirt, I left it in the mud. Look at my beautiful ugly rainbow colored LG.
Unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of footage of this, but this is just me applying my thermal paste to my CPU and putting the pump header on. So now that we know that all the parts are working, including the PC cables, now we can finally move on to the last part of this build. I'm putting in the power supply and we're about to do some cable management. I don't think there's any camera in the world that could speed this up quick enough. Cable management just takes a really long time. It's a very tedious and meticulous part of PC building. You have to make sure that the cables aren't all bunched together. You have to make sure things are plugged in properly because you don't want to start a fire. Because yes, improper cable management will start a fire. But all in all, we have finally reached the finish line.
So now I can officially say that everything is done and completed with. To say that I am satisfied with how this turned out would be a complete understatement. I am over the moon with how this turned out. It looks good, it runs great, and I just couldn't be any more happier. As you can probably tell since you were watching the video, so many struggles, so many ups and downs, but we persevered. Now, I actually had quite a few of my friends help me with this in terms of part recommendation, help on how to put it together, but I also had a good number of my friends, mainly my male friends, just say,
why don't you just borrow the parts and let me put it together for you?
And I think it's kind of clear why I didn't want to go with that option. Putting together the parts, customizing my own PC case, and it all turned out so beautifully. And I cannot tell you how much pride and just sense of accomplishment I have looking at this every time I turn it on. Granted, building a PC is not rocket science, but it still takes a lot of effort to put it together. So Thank you, boys, but I think I got this handled. So now that we have everything squared away, I kind of want to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly of putting this thing together. Let's start with the good. On the outside, it looks absolutely amazing. The colors clash really nicely. I'm so excited about how everything looks, especially when it's lit up. I don't have it lit up right now because it's during the daytime. It just looks aesthetically pleasing. I actually took my PC into Micro Center because Micro Center offers a free diagnostics test on your computer just to make sure everything's running correctly, and I wanted to take advantage of that. And every one of the workers that walked by were just so amazed at my PC. I didn't know PCs came in this color. Where did you get this case? Where did you get this pump? They were completely shocked about how it looked. And it felt amazing to say, yep, that was all me. It was me. I did that. Me. Now the PC doesn't just look good, it runs well. Checking all my numbers and it is running like a champ. I am getting 60 frames consistently in Marvel Rivals instead of 14. And so honestly, that's the only benchmark I need. She's running good. Now let's get into the bad. I don't really have anything inherently bad to say about this other than this process took a really long time, but that's to be expected. Putting together all the PC parts wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, especially since I had a pretty difficult time with my first time building a PC. The only thing I had a problem with in this PC is that daisy chaining the fans together was so difficult. Not saying that daisy chaining in itself is inherently bad, it's just that by the time I finally turned this thing on, 2 of the fans were not spinning at all, and then only 4 of them had color. I had to go back in, rearrange everything, do some cable management, and finally I got all 4 of my fans to spin as well as the pump cooler to spin. So not necessarily bad, but we got it all together. Finally, let's talk about the ugly. From afar, Lolita is very pretty. She is very beautiful. She turns heads like her mama. Up close, you can see some of the details that I messed up. Paint's chipped a little bit. There's some paint chipping right here along the edges if you get a closer look. I also have this big, wet, blotchy spot of paint up here that I was not able to sand out. But it's not ugly, it's just a little bit messed up. Now you're probably sitting here wondering, Keiki, there is no way that you spent all this time and all this money on a PC just so you can get better frames in Marvel Rivals. And you would be correct. That is not the only reason I did all this. I am happy to announce that I will be doing content creation. Yay! I've been wanting to do content creation for a long time now, but I really haven't had the time nor the passion or the gusto to really go into it, but I have recently come upon a lot of free time, so I am now starting my content creation journey. One of the platforms I will be doing content creation on is the one you're on now. I have so many plans and videos that I just want to get down on paper and start filming and put them out, and I know it's going to take some time, but I'm really excited about this. So my plan for my YouTube channel is to kind of do regular gaming videos with new popular releases, some older games, some retro games, and just overall any regular category of gaming. That's going to be the main content of my YouTube channel. I have so many games that I'm excited for 2025 that I want to get on the channel. I just can't even fathom it. Elden Ring Night Rain is coming out. I forgot to finish Hades 2. GTA 6 is coming out. Subnautica 2 I still want to try out Monster Hunter's Wild. Marvel Rivals, of course. Did I mention that there's some new Elden Ring content? All of my friends play Call of Duty, so I might get into that. The Last of Us 2. And lastly, some new Elden Ring Night Rain content. That's the plan for my YouTube channel. My Twitch channel, on the other hand, is a different story. We're still going to be playing games, but we're going to be playing a different category of games.
I will not be saying what that category of games is. You'll just have to come see for yourself.
With that being said, thank you so much to everyone who helped me with this video. Thank you to all my friends, and it's time to roll the credits.